my friends, it is time for another episode of Your Questions Answered. What we do is on our Facebook page, we say, hey, do you have any questions for Stephanie? And I answer them in a video. So the first one is from Dana, and she says, can we vote on dies we would like to have made? I vote for Phone for You. Well, Dana, we always take suggestions on our website. You can go to our Contact Us page and there's a product suggestion option, and you can click that and you can answer, you can say whatever you'd like. We do plan on releasing dies from our previous club sets, so Phone for You probably is on its way if it's not released already. So stay tuned for more. This one's from Catherine. How do I keep my cutting pads, the plastic ones, from warping? They are for my Big Shot. Well, what you're going to want to do, and here I have my Big Shot here because it's always nearby. You can see that this one's a little warped. Now, it's so funny because when I first started working for Sizzix, I always thought if it was warped a little bit, I would turn it this way and go this way to try to flatten it when I run it through the machine. Not true. What you're going to want to do is when it's warped, you want to cut into the bowl. So I would put my die blade down into this little bowl and it will release the pressure and eventually get it flat again. So now you can still use it when it's warped. That's not a problem. This is, you can tell, well loved. I usually say when you cannot see through it at all, maybe it's time to get a new one, but these are still in perfect condition. Just use them over and over. Just constantly flip them and then they'll get flat, okay? So good question though. Okay, let's see. Terry wants to know, when I use the Flippets, the part that is supposed to just fold cuts through. Well, that is because you need the crease pad. The crease pad, let me grab one. The crease pad looks like this. It is a very firm plastic. You can see it does not fold down. It's not the silicone pad. It's a very firm plastic. What you're gonna do is you're gonna use one cutting pad and one crease pad on top. Your die face up to the blades. So this will allow those crease rule blades to crease or score instead of cut. Okay, so and on the packaging it does say that this is definitely recommended. Okay, let's see. Susan wants to know, can you explain the different type of ink? I got a mark so I know where I am. Susan wants to know, can you explain the different types of inks and what they are used for? I only recommend 99% of the time and only use 99% of the time dye inks. I have my own ink line, and the nice thing about these ink pads is there's no texture on the pad. So when you stamp a solid image, you're getting just the solid image. You're not getting any woven texture or any weave or anything from the felt pad. This is a beautifully straight, complete, no texture ink pad. Dye ink is perfect. It dries very, very quickly. So you will not be heat embossing with the dye ink because it dries very quickly. The reason why I want it to dry quickly is because I always accidentally touch it. And so it's already dry, so I don't have to worry. Now, is this good for the markers, the alcohol markers? No, it is not. You want to use Memento ink pads for that. This is for color. If you want color, you want to use the dye inks. Now, we also have our white pad, which is a pigment ink. Our pigment ink, all pigment inks are different. They take a lot longer to dry. You can also heat emboss these because they take so long to dry. They're very thick and you're not going to get a crisp image with a pigment ink pad because it's a thicker ink and it takes a lot longer to dry. So if you're using dark colored cardstock, if you were going to use stamp on black, you would definitely want to use a pigment ink, but just know that you're going to stamp it, put it off to the side and let it dry or heat set it, okay? So there's quite a bit of a difference.